So decided to make my video during my run and been pondering back and forth what I wanted to speak on to black men, my black gods, and just finally decided that I'm going to talk about this apology tour that a lot of black men go on. It's apology tour. It's like black men have to apologize to every group, have apologized to every group. Black women, white women, gays, white sports fans, white pet owners. And nobody has taken the time to ever apologize for wrongdoings, murders, drugging, traumatizing, financially bankrupting, financially exploiting, oppressing, economically oppressing black men. Yeah, especially a lot of our influencers are always on apology tour. Even when black men go to domestic violence summits and panels, it's mostly women there, and they share their stories about being on the recipient end of domestic abuse. Rarely ever, even though I've never come across one, where those same women are sharing their stories of being on the sending side of domestic abuse towards black men, or the sending side of abuse towards black boys. And we know black boys are one of the highest groups of domestic abuse receivers in this country. It's black boys, it's black girls, gay kids, but you don't see those type of apologies or those stories on those certain panels. You see some black men talk about either being recipients, but mostly talking about being abusers themselves. But they don't get no round of applause for apologies given. They only get a round of applause when they make the apology. Oh, I'm sorry, I was just, I wasn't a better man. I'm a better man now. And I made mistakes when I was young and dumb. And my father did this to me and my mom did this to me. One of the interesting things, probably know is George Washington's mom was actually very abusive. Just a little side tidbit. Many black boys, grow up in abusive homes. The father isn't there most of the time, but the mother's there. And the mother's going through so much economic turmoil, emotional turmoil. All that trauma is infused in one human being. Bless their heart, of course. I grew up the same. Mom doing the best that they can. But a recoil of that is abuse that comes out of that. Emotional abuse, physical abuse. Beating his ass, hard on his ass. But you don't hear no apology there's no mothers group getting together to make apologies to black boys or apologies to black men who were then black boys. Just saying. At some point, black men have to grab our cojones, our nuts, our balls, and say, look, we make mistakes just as every group has made mistakes towards every aspect of society. But we are not the ones at the top of the pyramid. Black men aren't on top of any statistical category in this country, aside from imprisonment, aside from homelessness, We are atop of failing categories, but we don't lead shit. We don't lead anything in the areas of categories that are like constructive to society. So when I say that, I mean that we don't possess the power in this country. We're not at the top of the patriarchy tree. You know, black gay men aren't even at the top of within their sector. What's her name? Flame talked about that. The transsexual woman who still considers herself a man, and rightfully so, because she still has nuts. She was still born with a penis. You know? But black man's doing all this damn apologizing. And that doesn't mean we don't condone none of this shit that goes on. We don't condone killing nobody. The average black man does not kill, nor does not conduct those heinous acts or support those heinous acts. Doesn't approve of those things at all. Just because a few of our rotten apples do them, doesn't mean that the whole entire community, that there need to be leaders and speakers from the black community of black men to speak for all of us, or most of us, to offer this official apology. The fuck? And we don't get the same love. All those groups I mentioned before, black women, white women, gay community, they can make as many jokes, say as many offensive things, disparaging things, do heinous acts towards us, and there are no group consequences. There are no consequences for that, because they don't respect the economics of black men. Just like a lot of businesses and corporations who sponsor those groups and get behind those groups and try to censor a lot of people who speak in a way that can be offending in those groups. None of them get behind black men because they don't see the economic value there. But I do. And that's changing. I was watching Kevin Hart last night, and he was standing tall in his during his when he made the homophobic slurs, back in 2009, and it had it resurfaced. He was standing his ground, and his whole entire team, who were mostly white, was telling him, "Oh, you need to go make an apology. You need to just not say nothing." When that's what I mean. And I was sad because one of his persons on his team was a black dude. But they made certain comments and things. They wanted him to shut up and be quiet. Not because what he was standing for wasn't right. It's because it would hurt the economic revenue of his brand. That's it. It was about the money. It wasn't about what he's fighting for. Which, was it Dame Dash or was it? Oh, Joe Budden actually said something interesting. He said, when I negotiated my contract with Spotify and was declining deals, podcast deals, I knew that this deal wasn't only important for me and my team, his co-workers on the show. The deal was important because it's going to set the precedent for future podcasters' deals. That was highly aware, highly intelligent, and that usually comes from older, mature men, which black men eventually get to if given the time. Most black men become their version of the Malcolm X, but they also have to go through their version of red at the same time. And we're not often afforded the opportunity. We're discarded and thrown away in society by that. And this ain't no pity party. Black men don't ever want no pity party. What we do is we want the same respect and the same treatment as any other human being is treated and respected and regarded. If those other groups are allotted to have mistakes and they're bad apples, we need to be allowed to have mistakes and our own bad apples. with us having to go on these apology tours of trying to make everybody, trying to apologize for a mistake we made or a few bad apples. That's not on our plate. You shouldn't rest your self-worth in us. You shouldn't, you know, when you're heavily critical on black men, you know, it stirs up a lot of fears that black men have of not being authentically themselves, of not speaking up more, of not being able to go for more, because they fear the repercussions from such attempts, especially if it challenges society norms or challenges common beliefs. This is why, like, if you look at rappers, a lot of rappers are really rebellious, and they're really young, because that's what young men are, young and rebellious. But they rebel so hard because they grew up in communities of society where they were shunned, they were discarded. No one was around to feed them, clothe them. Just people just criticized them. The community criticized them, ostracized them, and everything. And so this has been their get back. They say, F it. That's a human thing. That's a human response. However, when black men do it, we're thugs. We're out of control. We feed off that. I know that not only because of mentors, mentees, and years of doing that work and study and research, you know, reading the articles and everything online and the books. I know it because I come from myself. And I'm not a coach who likes to input my personal into the information I get of black men, because what works for me individually, or what happened to me individually, doesn't mean it's good for the gander. But yeah, black men need to get off this apology tour, because there's no profit in it for us. There's no profit. When these black men go on these apology tours, there's nobody raves about it. They only rave about the initial offense that was created when it comes to black men, not the apologies. We don't get no shows. We don't get nobody who wants to make a book about us. We don't get no sympathy blogs. Nah, straight up and down ridicule. Straight up and down ridicule. So, what I want black men to do is I want you to start standing up for yourself. I ain't even gonna sit here and say we don't hold each other accountable, because we as black men know we hold each other accountable. We know we hold our brothers accountable. What they're gonna do is whatever they are going to do. These other groups need to hold themselves and each other accountable. Flip the table. Stop treating us like ISS students. I'm kind of lost trying to figure out what the hell am I saying. Oh, I see it. It's first time running through this neighborhood. But yeah. That's the thing. These other groups need to be held accountable. And any of these blog sites, companies that you see bashing black men or berating black men, unfollow them. Don't support them, brothers. That includes the women on Instagram that you follow. Unfollow their ass too if they bash y'all or critical of y'all, because they wouldn't dare bash or be critical of any other group. You don't find nobody who's not a black man being critical of the mistakes that the gay community makes, that the mobs that they create online to go out and tear down people without considering that these people are human beings too. The offenses and things that they go through are the same thing that they create. Same for women. The same offenses that they face is the same ones that they create are created for black men. So I don't even think this is the right spot. Yeah, yes it is. Okay. So that's what I want my black guys to do. I want you to unfollow, stop donating, stop giving money, stop buying any company, corporation, influencer, brand that doesn't support black men. Since they won't respect our economy, the economy of black men, then they're going to have to pay for it, just like every other group does. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to stand up, because when we stand up, we take our communities back. We become the leader of our household, the leader of our community. Nobody cares about black more than black men. Nobody. Nobody's going to lead the black community out of this economic depression but black men. Black men built it. Black men let it fall, slip throughout history. And it's up to black men to retain it and build it back up. We are the seeds of humanity. We created the seeds of humanity. You are God. If you have any questions, shoot me a DM. My paperback book is available on Amazon. The Other Side of Fear, go get that. And if you're interested in a coaching session, I'm only taking on 3 clients this month. Shoot me a DM and we'll set up a free 15-minute consultation. All right? Appreciate y'all for following me. Remember, you had what it took the entire time. Coach D'Amicos. I'm out.